Welcome to Truth Be Told About Going Wild. I'm your host, Robert Hensley, and this is the podcast inspired by the principles of personal rewilding. This past week, we celebrated the Summer Solstice, which is the longest day of the year. It's the time when especially for us in the northern hemisphere, the Earth is tilted on its axis, and we are the closest to the sun that we will be all year. Um, but what it brings up, especially for those who are in the process of rewilding or who are learning about personal rewilding, is the second pillar, which is realigning ourselves with the wild rhythms and cycles of nature, and of course, the changing seasons. Um, and how do we do that? There's a lot of questions about. I don't know what that means. I'm not really sure how to honor that or what I'm supposed to be doing. Um, and so I just wanted to kind of go over very briefly the meanings of the changing season, and how we can um, kind of pull from other cultures and traditions and um, really kind of look at what that symbolizes and the transition in nature and life, in our mental and spiritual health. So winter, let's start there, right? So winter, the change to winter represents a change to stillness, introspection, endings. The struggle between light and darkness is kind of come to a place of rest. It's a time to reflect and really kind of prepare for new beginnings, for what might be next. Um, in order to honor winter, and that change, that transition to stillness, is really about embracing it, right? Dedicating time for quiet contemplation. It's time for journaling. It's to engage in practices that allow you to really look inside, and start planning again things for the future. We can celebrate with things like evergreen, holly, mistletoe, things that represent a continuation of life. We can light candles and fires that symbolize that triumph of light over darkness, that we know that the sun comes back in the spring. Um, and it's also a great time to gather with loved ones and to share meals and singing and activities that really kind of promote warmth and togetherness and sharing. Um, and it's also a great time to prioritize sleep, engage in really cozy self care kind of activities, to enjoy hearty, warm foods, and it's about comfort. It's about really kind of allowing ourselves to rest from the year ahead and prepare for the coming year. Spring, uh, the transition into spring is a transition that represents rebirth, renewal, new beginnings, growth, hope, fresh starts, right? So when nature awakens from its winter slumber and things start bursting back to life, that's what we're honoring. And we can honor that by planting seeds. We want to plant our gardens. We can symbolize these new beginnings by nurturing the growth of new plants. It could be a time that you kind of clean out your workspace or clean out your home, purify your space, creating again a fresh environment. Um, it's a great time for taking nature walks and observing the earth kind of blossoming, the flowers, the plants, see the baby animals, and it's a great time again to gather with friends for picnics and really kind of enjoy that restart of the year together. Um, and all of that planning, those thoughts that you had during the winter about what you wanted for the future, those are seeds, right? And so in the springtime, we take those and we reflect upon those new opportunities and possibilities, and we start setting the intention for how those can develop throughout the year. We plant those seeds and we work on those for the rest of the year, right? Um, so um, then we get into summer, and that transition represents passion, growth, abundance, joy, adventure, vitality. It's a time of a lot of energy. Things are flourishing. The days are long. There's a lot of sun. We're celebrating the light. Um, and we really kind of want to engage in activities that embrace the season's vitality, the vibrancy. spending a lot of time outdoors. That's when we really get into our gardening. Things have grown now. They're getting ready to start producing fruit. Um, we want to, again, gather with our loved ones, with friends. We have barbecues and picnics and social events, and it's really about creating community and being able to share the abundance of the season. Um, and then again, we have this idea of all of those seeds that we planted personally for what we want to happen in the rest of the year. This is where we're tilling that garden. We're watching those things grow and happen, and we're helping to foster um, this new opportunity that's coming about. And then the transition into autumn, right, obviously is a representation of change, of maturity, a time of harvest, right? We're getting ready to start that period of introspection and reflection. We can really kind of start to let go and release some burdens. We should also be ready to celebrate and reap the harvest, right? So all of those things that we had planted in the spring, those thoughts for personal growth, those goals that we set, autumn should be the time that those things are coming to fruition, and we should be able to see the manifestation of that. And we honor that change through acknowledging our achievements, by being grateful for nature's bounty, participating in festivals, harvest celebrations. If you are if you're a farmer or an avid gardener, you might be canning, you might be taking in your abundance and really celebrating what you have by preparing that for the rest of the year so that you can continue to celebrate that through the winter. We can also release things that no longer serve us, that we know we needed for a time, and now we can let that go. We can connect again with nature by spending time outdoors and really observing the changing colors of the leaves and watching how things kind of go from their vibrancy into their dormancy. And really appreciate the transition that we see happening physically all around us. It's also, again, a time to start putting things together so that things are nice and cozy for winter, right? So we're preparing ourselves for that time of rest and relaxation. Um, and also, then if we look at, the holidays that kind of happen in autumn, same thing there, Halloween, Thanksgiving, it's all about honoring tradition and really honoring our ancestors. Um, so those are the ways in which we can kind of take advantage of the changing of the seasons and how we work that into our own lives, how we can be a part of or align ourselves with those rhythms and cycles, right? We observe them happening around us in the natural world. Now we can kind of bring that into our own lives and do things to honor and celebrate those transitions and really make ourselves a part of what's happening in nature, right? Again, not that we're outside of it, because we're part of it. Uh, so those are things that we can do to embrace the meanings and the rhythms for each season, and how we can really deepen our connection to nature and hopefully find personal growth and really continue to cultivate that sense of awe and wonder and gratitude and that feeling of connectedness. I hope you all had a great summer solstice. I hope some of you did do something to celebrate the changing of the season. And if you have any questions, concerns, comments, or would like to learn more about honoring those transitions, or how we can realign ourselves with the wild rhythms and cycles of the natural world, please feel free to reach out to me via the website at www.rhnaturereconnect.com. Again, that's www.rhnaturereconnectaltogether.com. And remember that there are 3 opportunities every week for you to enjoy content from the Truth Be Told family of podcasts on the Club Paranormal channel on YouTube. Tony Sweet with the original Truth Be Told every Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 Eastern. Bonnie Burkett on Wednesdays with Truth Be Told Transformations. Same time, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 Eastern. And of course, what you're listening to now, Truth Be Told about going wild every Monday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 Eastern. Please enjoy the season, and until next time.